Hello again, everyone. I am, as always, TheSynapZe, and this is Geek Criteek. Inception is awesome! Yes, that was certainly a real benchmark movie for me in cinemas in recent years. It featured one of my favorite directors, one of the decade's most reliable dramatic actors in the lead, a cerebral, labyrinthine plot, the chick from Juno, action, comedy, speculative science fiction. Oh, not to mention Tommy from Third Rock from the Sun in a kick-ass zero-G fight scene. Nice work, Tommy. You are well on your way to atoning for the plastic egg-faced Cobra Commander. I still remember talking to all my friends outside the theater after the film saying things like, wow, that movie was like The Matrix, except I'm going to enjoy thinking about it. And then one of my friends said to me, hey, you know what would make a great double feature to Inception? Dark City.
When the lights go down in the city and the sun shines on the bay.
I hadn't heard about this movie in practically a decade. I vaguely remembered that it involved these floating Nosferatu-looking dudes, and it was from the same director as The Crow, but I finally got around to seeing it just a little while ago. Now, I put Inception on my current top 10 list, but what about Big Sister Dark City? Well, that's what I invite you here today to find out. Okay, good news. 10 seconds in and there's already darkness and a city. Glad to see they came through on that promise. We pass by an obvious setup for a joke about 60 Minutes and meet our hero, John Murdoch, who's found himself in a very Indigo Prophecy-style situation. He wakes up in a hotel bathroom with amnesia. There is a strange bleeding wound on his forehead. A ritualistically murdered woman is lying in his bedroom. There is a bizarre shattered syringe nearby, and a goldfish is flopping on the floor. Ow! Damn it! I shouldn't have burned my Faith No More's epic reference 2 episodes ago. Well, live and learn. Oh, check it out! John found Kyle Haybear's suitcase. If I return this to him, maybe he'll let me voice Ryu in the inevitable Street Fighter V. Oh, wait, his contract with Capcom is how long? Next, we meet John's lounge singer wife, played by Jennifer Connelly. We're very fortunate to have caught her during her looking ethereally beautiful and quasi-period pieces phase of her career, which came before her crying profusely and giving people hugs phase, and after her trying desperately not to look at David Bowie's Batch phase.
Like a flower bending in a breeze, bend with me, sway with ease. When we dance, you have a way with me.
Wow. She makes drowsiness look so good. Oh man, I really hope I'll be able to keep my composure when I go to the pharmacy tonight and buy some NyQuil. She is summoned to speak to her missing husband's shrink, a twitchy, old-fashioned mad scientist guy played by, of all people, Kiefer Sutherland.
It appears that John has suffered a psychotic break. Complete memory loss. He may be delusional, even violent.
Oh my god! He sounds like he's the son of Fred Schneider of the B-52s and Torgo. The master would not approve of boys in bikinis and girls on surfboards! Oh, and please disregard the room's centerpiece. That's not going to be a metaphor for the movie or anything.
You're a fucking rat in a maze.
Hey! That's enough lip out of you, Rorschach! Next, a police detective played by the perennially world-weary William Hurt checks out Murdoch's alleged crime scene.
Evening, Hasselbeck.
Inspector Bumstead.
I've heard good things about your trademark towering sandwiches. There's a part here where Bumstead tells the beat cop that his shoes are untied, and the movie will emphatically prove the importance of this later question mark, 7 exclamation points.
Wow. Looks like somebody woke up on the wrong side of bed.
Meanwhile, Murdoch hits up an automat called Food, and learns you come to food for the food, you stay for the hookers.
You feeling any urges I should know about?
Oh damn, I forgot it was take your daughter to work day. Never mind.
Ah, shoot.
Out in the street, Murdoch rifles through his pockets and discovers some disturbing news clippings. You know, I have to admit, I mean, that would be pretty damn creepy to find... Wait a minute. Internet reviewer killer strikes again? Third internet reviewer victim claimed. Police discover scrap of black Hawaiian shirt and split curl hair gel at crime scene? Oh, awesome! A coupon for Outback Steakhouse. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, here's a knife fight on a billboard with vampires. When you're a Voldemort all the way, from your first cigarette to your last dying day. In the ensuing fracas, John pulls a rope, causing the billboard to scalp one of the bald dudes, and a CGI jellyfish falls out of his noggin. I meant to say that this was kind of a weird movie. Did I say this was a weird movie? It's something of a weird movie. And I know the word weird is a bit of a subjective term, but for your consideration, I present to you The Lair of the Strangers, or 190 Fester Adams impersonators in leather catsuits holding Mach UN in Fritz Lang's garage sale.
What is to be done? This man is dangerous.
And Mr. Quick?
No more Mr. Quick.
Mr. Quick, dead. Yes. Poor Mr. Quick.
Mr. Quick is dead! Long live Mr. Ovaltine!
Mr. Book, does he know?
Should we not know, Mr. Hand?
And now, the script writing process of Dark City, a dramatic reenactment. I'm not certain how I, David S. Goyer, writer of respected comic book adaptations such as The Dark Knight, Blade, and that one where Nick Fury was played by Davey Hasselhoff, can add a greater layer of dread and menace to the bizarre alien villains in my sci-fi psychothrillodrama. Eureka! I shall name them after things I can see in my study and or kitchen.
Mr. Knight, you will take the east. Mr. Face, you the west. Mr. Glove, the south. Mr. Shade, the north.
Mr. Lamp, you take the southwest. Mr. Whisk, the northwest. Mr. Clacky Ball Toy, you're with me. Mr. Bean, jam your head into a stuffed turkey. Mr. Mister, compose the creepiest song of the 1980s. And as for you, Mr. Pink...
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Well, I could spend another hour on that scene, but I just can't resist the siren song of this movie's plot for much longer. Here, John visits his wife to try and quash all those nasty "I've been killing hookers" rumors that have been floating around the water cooler.
Maybe I have lost my mind, but whoever I am, I'm still me, and I'm not a killer.
I believe you.
You do?
Really? You do? Are you sure? Well, thanks, honey. Wow, I didn't think I was that good of an actor. Well, in any case, I'll just be taking this steak knife on one of my many business trips. See you in a few. Oh no, Detective William World of Hurt is here to break up the family reunion. But Johnny's got an ace up his sleeve. He can make doors appear in walls, because he's accessed the level editor of the movie. And now let's visit the Stranger's Sweatshop, where strangers toil day and night making props for this and other movies. Like this, Jack Bauer's volatile chemistry set. Why wait for the terrorists to tell you where the bomb is when you can make one yourself?
Let's see. A touch of unhappy childhood. A dash of teenage rebellion. A tragic death in the family.
And now, a generous proportion of parentally mandated ballet lessons. Yes, and finally, just a kiss of unfortunate locker room erection. And now, my serum is complete. Those bastards from the Maury Povich show will never refuse me now! Hello! Mr. Book, I'm sorry, did you need that for some... Ah!
Why does Murdoch not sleep as the others do?
What do you expect? Weren't you looking for the human soul? That's the purpose of your little zoo, isn't it? Maybe you have finally found what you are looking for, and it's going to bite you on your...
Okay, did everyone see that? I hope so, because there was a valuable lesson to learn there. If you are ever threatened by a stranger, there is only one recourse: exposition. Exposit. Exposit like there's no tomorrow. Explain the backstory of anyone or anything. This could save your life one day!
Let the tuning commence.
Oh, what? Are we doing that now? Oh, damn it, hold on. No, focus. Exposit to survive. Okay, here I go. Every night, the strangers use their tuning powers to put the entire city into a coma. Then they go out and change everyone's lives, in about every imaginable way. They alter the buildings they live and work in, they swap out all their possessions, and most of all, they imprint new memories and personalities directly into their frontal lobes. Like here, where they decide to turn a family of Joe Sixpacks into regular Joe Rockefellers.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
And yes, they do this to practically every person in the city, every single night. You know, it's not often I could describe a movie's villains by saying, well, they're a lot like Santa Claus, but with a much stronger work ethic. Also, the Doctor and Mr. Hand, which would be a great name for a folk rock duo, strike upon an idea to find Murdoch and stop him from running around making doors appear all willy-nilly. You see, to catch a film protagonist, you gotta think like a film protagonist, so Handyman is getting his coconut filled with Murdoch's last memory booster shot. Okay, this is as good a time as any to point out that Mr. Hand is played by Richard O'Brien, who certainly brings a strong precedent of bizarre, pale, bald nut jobs to this film.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll.
And yet, I'm not certain this actually works to the film's benefit. This was intended as a serious movie, with important themes about nature versus nurture psychology and the definition of the human condition. But every time Ricky's on screen, I'm torn between belting out Time Warp or saying things like, well, you know, I really like to pay Mr. Hand a visit, but Mom always told me that that would make Jesus cry. Hey-o! Okay, first thing on Murdoch 2.0's itinerary, kill that hooker from earlier, as punishment for starring in Triangle. Second thing, have a disarmingly pleasant conversation with his wife.
There used to be a ferry when I was a boy. Biggest thing you ever saw. Lit up like a floating birthday cake.
It's just what my husband once said to me. What brings you here?
I met my wife at this place.
That's where I first met my husband.
Small world.
Why, we have so much in common. Will you be my Facebook friend? We could start a group. 1 million fans in favor of bringing back the birthday cake fairy. This completely benign event causes Mrs. Murdoch to look for her husband at the homes of local prostitutes. So Jenny panics at the sight of her extremely tacky beaded curtains, and later discovers the one clue to the crime that the most thorough police investigation would never find. A little girl hiding under the bed. Okay, good framing and line work, but heavy uses of reds and blacks. It's a little too on the nose. I give it a B-. Meanwhile, Johnny pops in to see his Uncle Carl, who he has now, and he lives in SpongeBob SquarePants' Summer Pineapple. Johnny takes in a slideshow of his whimsically happy childhood. See? This is incontrovertible proof that he has a genuine past. Not even highly advanced space aliens could figure out how to use Photoshop.
It's a scar.
You burnt your arm pretty bad in the fire. What does it mean, Johnny?
What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means, old man. It means chicks will no longer dig me. Alright. I'll just go back to sleeping with Jennifer Connelly.
Mr. Murdoch, you've been the cause of much distress.
Yes, it was much easier to assimilate Hannibal and Faceman. And now to subdue you with my unfathomable space god powers. Ow! Bullshit!
There's no escape. The city's ours. We made it.
What are you talking about?
We fashioned this city on stolen memories.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Why?
In order to learn.
Learn what?
about you, Mr. Murdoch. You and your fellow inhabitants. We need to be like you. I want to be like you.
Murdoch tries to make good his escape, but he forgot that Dark City is a city on the grow! Oh my god, there's a cute little baby stranger! He's so adorable! Aw, and he's teething! Don't worry, little guy, I brought your binky! Here comes the airplane! Aww. Luckily, Bumstead rescues him from his attempted murder, only to take him into interrogation for alleged murder. Oh, the old bait and switch. And of course, the inspector spends this time mostly fielding questions from the suspect.
When was the last time you remember doing something during the day? And I'm not talking about some distant, half-forgotten childhood memory. I mean, like yesterday, last week, when?
There has to be an explanation for this somewhere.
Explain this.
Well, that's the Force, son. That's created by every living being. It penetrates us, it binds us, it holds the universe together. You know, they made a few movies about it. 2 of them were pretty good. But enough about that. It's time for the most important part of the picture. We've come full circle! Because earlier, Bumstead told that beat cop his shoelaces were untied, and just now, he himself had shoelaces that were untied! It's all coming together! We're through the looking glass here, people! I'm being completely facetious, of course! I don't get the freaking shoelaces! I understand almost everything about this raging mind hump of a movie, except the shoelaces! I've watched 5 commentaries, and no one ever talks about shoelaces! You've gotta help me! We have to destroy the shoelace conspiracy!
The plastic tips at the ends of shoelaces are called aglets. Their true purpose is sinister.
Aglets. Sinister. Okay, every little piece of the puzzle helps. Anyway, Murdoch and Bumstead decide to shake down Dr. Bauer-Sano for some answers. They find him at the local natatorium, or swimming pool, as you humans call it. And why was he there?
I come here quite often. It's one of the few places I'm allowed a moment's peace. You see, they have an aversion to water.
Ouch. You wound me, Dark City. Now the strangers remind me of those aliens from Signs. Bad form movie. Very bad form. So the doc invites them to a mass expository dump in a canoe on a river. Damn, if a stranger stops by now, it's going to be like a garlic clove and wolfsbane sandwich to him.
First, there was darkness. Then came the strangers. They abducted us and brought us here. Mix and match our memories as they see fit, trying to divine what makes us unique.
Why are they doing all this?
They're dying, you see. Their entire race is on the brink of extinction.
They believe that if they screw around with our brainstems enough before December 21st of this year, then they can prevent their planet Krypton from exploding. Personally, I think that those gimp-suited cue balls are a few eggs short of a carton.
They control everything here, even the sun. That's why it's always dark. They can't stand the light.
Okay, for those of you playing at home, the strangers are Kris Kringle on caffeine drips, the idiot naked lizards from Signs, and the mole people.
Well, I think I can take care of this with a flashlight. Yep.
Oh,
Get down there.
Sit down,
Junior.
Graham.
Wow. Right, okay.
I told you.
You know what? This whole movie's starting to get on my tits. Hey, Hurt, let's just start smashing shit. Oh, damn, the Twilight Zone is starting over there. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Serling.
And now you know the truth.
Ah! I did the G.I. Joe joke 2 episodes ago, too. Just get your action scene started already. Hey, John, a little help here. You're telekinetic, man. Just give me a little push back toward... Oh, you putz. In space, no one can hear you hurt. Wait, you know I've got another barrel of snark for this. And so, alas, William Hurt was lost in space. Just in time for his next movie, The Proposition. Coming this summer to Six Flags Over Jersey, it's Dark City the Ride! Kids under 12 who bring their own PVC fedoras get in free. And, with all seriousness, it looks like the fun times are coming to an end. The strangers have Murdoch, and they're prepared to let him save all of their lives like a hero should, the selfish jackoffs. So they let Dr. Giggles here do the honors, even though he's gotten himself tangled in his coat rack somehow. But what's this? The doctor switched the thingy for another thingy, and now John's memories are nothing but Kiefer Sutherland, as if he was raised by the Lost Boys. The horror!
This is the machine the strangers use to amplify their thoughts, the machine that changes their world. You must take control of it. You're probably wondering why I keep appearing in your memories. It is because I have inserted myself in them.
You're also probably wondering why I'm no longer talking like Bugs Bunny, talking like Peter Lorre. Well, I don't really know the answer myself. Mixing magical memory juice isn't really an exact science, you know? So, pop quiz guys, can you sum up what just happened with the same 5-word pop culture inspired riff that I did? You have half a second. Pencils down. Whoa, I know Toon Fu. And now we've come to the final battle. And it's what I like to call a wizard duel. I bet actors really love doing wizard duels. All they have to do is stand still and stare at the other guy while the special effects crew and wire teams do all the heavy lifting. Yeah, I bet Johnny Boy is musing there to himself, "Dude, can you believe I'm getting paid to pretend to think this guy to death?" I mean, even those kids in the Harry Potter movies have to point little sticks at each other and say things. Saps. I am living the high life. Huh, I wonder if they're going to pass Vegeta and Goku on the way up. It's time for anime! Ah!
What are you going to do now, John?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do! I'm going to flood space! You may want to reach for a magazine or something, folks at home. This may take a while. So John's just about to go for a little post-genocide victory swim when, oh no, Mr. Riffraff's still around.
You wanted to know what it was about us that made us human. Well, you're not gonna find it in here. You went looking in the wrong place.
You should have been looking here, in the pancreas. It's a tragedy, really. You ask the average person on the street, what's your pancreas for? And they'll all say the same thing. The synthesis of insulin, amylase, and trypsin, and all those other digestive enzymes. But they're wrong! It means so much more. Amylase. So, our hero gets to walk arm in arm with his beloved into the new sunset, right? No! As one final fuck you from fate, she was imprinted with a brand new identity before the coup and doesn't know him from Adam. Son of a bitch! All the cosmic powers in the universe, and Johnny still can't avoid the dating scene. Hi. Hello there. I was just thinking about how you remind me of the birthday cake fairy. No, wait, forget I said that. Let's start again. I really loved you, and he's just not that into you. And that's a wrap. So, $64,000 question. Does this movie belong in my personal top 10? Oh, hell yes! Okay, this movie has some moments that lend themselves to ridicule and parody, perhaps one too many, but I loved the understated acting of Rufus Sewell in the lead. I loved the incredibly natural CG effects, so damn good for the late 90s. The noirish patchwork look of the sets and the costumes, the way the plot builds gradually from a murder mystery to the mystery of existence, and most especially, the statements this movie makes about the human experience, the meaning of life itself. Do our memories and experiences define us, or are we little more than the whole cloth from which we are made at birth? Will we always have room to grow? Will there always be horizons on which to expand our knowledge and understanding? Or are we destined to one day hit an evolutionary dead end, and as a species slowly choke to death on our own complacency and ennui? My personal favorite movies are the ones that I can treat like puzzles, the ones that I can turn over and over in my head, the ones I think about long after I see them, the ones that I learn more about every time I see them. Movies like 12 Monkeys, or The Fountain, or Memento, or Moon, or Shutter Island, or The Usual Suspects, or The Hangover, or even Dark City. I urge you all, see this movie. I have rarely seen such an ideal marriage of style and substance. But you know what? You don't even have to take my word for it. My version of the movie comes with this glowing testimonial from celebrated novelist and comic scribe Neil Gaiman, who calls Dark City a more than competent fusion of science fiction and comics and fantasy movie themes. Someday, I hope Neil Gaiman will look upon my show and deem it to be more than competent. That will always be the dream. And there are also 2 full-length commentaries from professional video game commentator and amateur film critic Roger Ebert, who claims that it was his favorite movie of 1998, its year of release. Would you believe that even with such a high quality of fans flying the Dark City freak flag, that the movie was originally an abysmal critical and box office failure? How could that be? Well, maybe it's because that awesome movie that I just showed you some glimpses from was the director's cut. Might I present to you the cinematic equivalent of having your brain slammed inside an Iron Maiden, or the first 45 seconds of the theatrical cut of Dark City.
First, there was darkness. Then came the strangers. They were a race as old as time itself. They had mastered the ultimate technology, the ability to alter physical reality by will alone. They called this ability tuning. But they were dying. Their civilization was in decline. And so they abandoned their world, seeking a cure for their own mortality. Their endless journey brought them to a small blue world in the farthest corner of the galaxy. Our world. Here they thought they had finally found what they had been searching for.
Yeah! That just happened! Remember that big revelation scene that showed up near the end of the movie? Put it right at the beginning! I mean, isn't that always the case, that the director's cut of a film trusts you to figure the movie out on your own, whereas the theatrical cut just yanks away as much suspense and mystique as possible for fear that you're going to get lost? I mean, really, the only exception to that rule I can think of off the top of my head is Donnie Darko, the director's cut of which...
You live in the glass house, Mr. Synapse. You should have been wise enough to throw stones.
Oh, I know what this is. Look, sir, I really wasn't planning on having an arch nemesis for like another 10 episodes or so. This isn't really...
Your pitiful desires are immaterial to me, Mr. Synapse. My hierarchy has sent me here to enact your most deserved punishment. The last thought that will cross your diseased mind is that I am your deliverer, your harbinger, your executioner. I am Mr. Stuff.
Ah. I'm guessing by now all the good names are taken.
I was given the choice between that and Mr. Wastebasket and Mr. Pants.
Good call.
Indeed, but we digress for the moment at hand.
Right. You mentioned punishment. What did I do?
The Dark City is our sacred cinematic experiment, and we were close to achieving immortal cult film status until you transgressed upon us. You mocked and slandered us for your own aggrandizement. You allayed your wretched hypocrisy on flaws of the theatrical cut. You spoiled intricacies of our holy narrative.
Hey, hold on. I'm on your side here. I'm doing this because I want more people to see your movie. And I didn't spoil everything. There are a lot of great plot points I didn't mention, like the Inspector Walensky character, or Shell Beach.
I am unmoved by your excuses, human. Shall we commence with your sentencing, or do you have anything else to say in your meager defense?
Actually, yes, there is something I can say. Haven't the strangers, your proud ancient race, long since evolved past the need for petty violence and revenge? I mean, as you well know, you once had to burrow into the brain of a corpse in order to survive. I mean, didn't that teach you an important lesson about the bounds of human creative expression? Right? Don't you remember your callow youth spent at Stranger University when you first placed your custom order at the local leather goods store and
Your expository dialogue has no power here. Now then, I'm going to tune the fuck out of you.
Are you even doing anything? Oh, what? Are you just gonna edit in explosions later? Hey, your shoelace is untied! Okay guys, I'm just gonna call it here. I'll have to resume this voyage another night. Don't be a stranger now. Bye.
I swear that one aglet just moved.
So you think you're lonely? Well, my friend, I'm lonely too. I wanna get back to my city by the bay.
What's your name, honey?
John.
Well, that's an appropriate name.